Welcome to the Whimsical Workshop. This video I want to talk about the 5 feet that I think every quilter should have in their toolbox to make quilting easier and more accurate. When you sew patchwork for quilting, the standard seam allowance is 1/4 inch. Very rarely will you find a pattern that's 1/2 inch, 3/8 inch, but for quilting it's 1/4 inch. So the sewing companies started coming out with 1/4 inch feet. If you do not have a 1/4 inch foot, you really should get one because it's really hard to gauge your 1/4 inch. That being said, I am going to have a video out there about how to set up your sewing machine with 3 tools to help you do a 1/4 inch. So if you can't get one of these feet, the other 2 tools are a very good place to start. But they do make the 1/4 inch feet in 2 different styles. There's the style that has this flange on the side, which usually can lift up and down and get it, you can have it out of your way or put it down, or they have it without the flange. Originally they were all done this way, and then they started with this little arm that helps the fabric kind of, you can see underneath, the fabric will butt up against that plate and not go under it. It helps you have a much more accurate 1/4 inch seam. That being said, if you're an old school sewer, a lot of them don't like the flange. They'd much rather go with the old traditional type. Either one works. Pick the one that you like. I have a Bernina. The Bernina 1/4 inch foot is a 37 without the flange, a 57 with the flange. But this is the #1 foot for quilters that you need to have. The next foot that you need to have, or should definitely have in your toolbox, is a walking foot. A walking foot, on your machine there are feed dogs on the bottom, and the walking foot acts as feed dogs on the top. More and more machines are coming out with the top having feed dogs already built in, so you wouldn't need a walking foot. So if you do have a newer machine, see if it has dual feed, is what it's called. I know the Bernina just came out with a beautiful 570 that has dual feed, so you don't need a walking foot, it's built in. Pfaff has always built walking feet into their machines, but the reason you want a walking foot is when you have thicker layers of fabric, say you have fabric batting fabric, or you're dealing with minky or flannel, or you're doing a bag and you have that bag foam, you need to use a walking foot to help you so the fabric is being pulled in evenly, so the bottom doesn't get pulled in at one speed and the top at the other. If you only use this foot, there are no feed dogs on top, and the bottom will be grabbed and pulled through faster than the top, and your pieces will warp and ripple. So anything other than cotton, I usually will switch over to a walking foot. It makes everything so much easier. So that would be foot number 2. Foot number 3, especially for someone like me, is an open toe foot. An open toe foot looks like this. Your needle goes down here and it's all open so you can see. So when I'm sewing, I can see what's going on, and I use this when I do finish raw edge applique. When I do a blanket stitch, buttonhole stitch, even when I do a zigzag stitch, unless I need that bar to hold it down, I will use this foot. This foot is the best because you can always see what you're doing. It's kind of like using a darning foot, but having control and pressure on top. So if you're going to do any kind of fusible applique, you have to get an open toe foot. If you're going to do zigzag or decorative stitching, this is also a great foot to have. And that for Bernina is number 20. I do know open toe feet are on a lot of machines. You may already have one that came with your machine. So that is the open toe foot. So let's see if we can lay these out here. Walking foot, 1/4 inch foot. Okay. Next up, the 4th foot I would recommend is a zipper foot. Zipper foot looks like this. Most machines will come with them. The zipper foot, you move the needle so the needle goes down on the left or the right of the bar, depending on what side of the zipper you're working on, and it'll let you run right up against the zipper, unlike, let's take this one, where you see it's, your needle would be way over here. So this is a zipper foot. It's great for putting zippers in, obviously. I use it sometimes when I have piping or cabling in something. That's not a quilting thing so much as a sewing thing, but the zipper foot would get the 4th spot on my list because I do use it quite a bit. Number 5 The last one is a top stitch foot. It looks like this. It has a bar down the middle. And what it does is this middle flange, let's get rid of that. You move your needle position over. So you can move it over slightly or you can move it over a full 1/8 inch. The flange goes against the edge of the fabric and you will get a beautiful top stitch right along that edge that is up to 1/8 of an inch. If you have something, you're doing miniatures and you need to do an 1/8 inch seam, this is also a great way to do it. But whenever you're doing bags, little sewing books, any kind of little thing, it always looks better when you do a top stitch, and by using a top stitch foot, it's very, very accurate and even. It doesn't look zigzaggy all over the place. So for that reason, I would give a top stitch foot the number 5 spot, and it happens to be the number 5 foot.